In this video, I'm going to show you an easy stock trading platform setup for beginners. If you're anything like I was when I was just getting started in the stock market and trading, it was very overwhelming. Even from strictly a platform setup point of view, so many choices, so many tools. Should I be using that one? Should I be using this one? And I would argue that the quickest way to make our life easy as traders, especially as beginners, is to avoid being overwhelmed. And yes, if you allow for it to happen, the platform in and of itself can quickly get overwhelming. That's why I want to focus on the basics and focus on what I would say and argue are the most important things from a trading platform point of view. And if we can avoid being overwhelmed, then of course that's not going to guarantee success, but it's going to put us in a much better spot to make good decisions as traders and then ultimately make some profit, make some money. Now, the platform that I'll be using here in the video is Webull. So if you're liking what you see as I go through the video and you want to, ultimately use this platform yourself, I'll put a link down below in the description box. For transparency's sake, that is an affiliate link, but they're always running promotions and things like that. And I would argue, if you're just getting started and there's a promotion that's going to give you a couple of free stocks or give you some money to sign up, I would say take that. So just keep that in mind. There is the link down below. Now, the first thing we need if we're trading stocks is, we need stocks to trade, and we want to have good stocks to trade, which brings the question, okay, how do we find good stocks to trade? And in this situation, we want to be pretty efficient. We want to be pretty quick about it. Now, if you're swing trading or investing, you won't need to be nearly as quick as if you're day trading, but either way you look at it, time is valuable, so let's try to be as efficient as possible. So the first thing that you're going to need to add, and again with Webull, you would click on that right there, which just allows you to customize a layout. Now, I'm calling it a setup, but some, Webull calls it a layout. But pointer being, it's the way you structure how you're going to be viewing the information. And over here, Webull has what are called widgets. So you have all these different choices. Again, so see what I mean by being overwhelmed? Holy, so much stuff. But we're going to cut through all that. So you're going to click on market. And then you're going to click on top gainers and losers. And we're going to adjust this down here a little bit so we can fit other things on the screen, which makes it nice. You can adjust things. But a couple of things here. First off, make sure you keep the volume visible, right? You don't want it. Now, for me, I don't see any reason why you would really. Now, if you, for some reason, your strategy cares about the market cap, then fine. You can leave that column there. But for me, the main thing is we want to be focused on the ticker symbol and the volume. And yeah, the percent change is nice too. But the overall idea here is this, is that you want to be focused on stocks that, are moving, right? You don't want to go and try trading a stock that nothing's going on. It's crickets. There's cobwebs growing on it. No, you want activity. You want volume. You want volatility. You just want people to be caring about a certain stock, because the more people that care about a stock, now for whatever reason they care, doesn't really matter, but they care about a stock. And when a lot of people care, then that's where the volume and that's where the movement is going to come from. And right here, Webull offers, there we go, both the top gainers right there. So if you want to see stocks that are going up, or you can click over here, top losers. That's going to be another area that you can click on here to keep an eye on, the popular stocks. And then what's also very interesting is that it's going to allow you to isolate time periods. So if you just want to look at things for the pre-market, you can do the pre-market. Just after hours, maybe you care about just what's going on for the day. As crazy it is, maybe you just care what's going on for the past 5 minutes, maybe the past 3 months. So a lot of customization here, but again, we're trying to keep things as straightforward as possible. So just click on the day. What's been going on for the day? Let's keep it easy. And let's keep it on the top gainers here. So that's the first thing you're going to want to, as part of your setup. You just want to be able to find stocks. Now, after you find a stock, you're going to want to be able to actually monitor, how it's trading. Because right now, all we know is that, okay, these stocks are either making big moves to the upside or big moves to the downside. But how do we actually monitor the actual information? So the next thing here is going to be, let's add ourselves in a chart, or in technical jargon, a technical chart. Now, the first thing here is make sure that it is what's known as a candlestick chart. Sometimes platforms and brokers are going to have line charts where all you see is a line. You don't want that. So in fact, I'll just show that real quick. So if you pull up the chart and it looks like this, which is a line chart, we don't want that. In fact, let me just get rid of that. You don't want this, right? Now I get it. Oh, everybody can recognize and see what's going on with the line chart, but what you want to make sure it's at least set to, if it's not set to it, you want to go and you want to make sure that it is a candlestick chart. Now, if you have no idea what a candlestick is, then you need to go learn about candlesticks. I have videos on the channel about candlesticks, but you don't want a line chart. You want a candlestick chart. And then to go along with this, we want something else. And this is called time and sales, meaning this is just going to tell us what's going on as far as the movement is concerned, meaning it's showing us when people are buying and when people are selling. And what I'd highly recommend that you have, in fact, what's nice about this is you can come over here and let's just get rid of exchange. So I would recommend that. That way we have this as free as possible. But the dynamic here that I would encourage you to consider using, as simple as it is just colors. Do you necessarily care about each and every price? No, in my opinion, you don't. But what you care about is the colors, meaning if you see a whole surge of green show up, then that's telling you that at that moment in time, a whole bunch of people are buying. But as I speak right now, notice how a section of red came right there. Oh, perfect. See how all that red just showed up? That's telling you that all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people were selling. And like I said, time and sales, I would recommend don't get hung up in the weeds, right? Don't, okay. And you're looking at the numbers and you're trying, okay, that 100, no, just look at the number or look at the colors. So again, whether or not you use Webull, up to you. But what is nice about Webull is it comes out as a default red and green. And just looking at the colors can very quickly let you know whether a bunch of selling or buying has occurred. And I'm glad we caught that on video here because if you want to scroll back, you'll notice even right now, a bunch of red has showed up. Now, I should note that I'm actually recording this video in after hours. So if the market was actually open right now, this box would be going a whole lot more. But, grab the wrong annotation tool there. But point here being is focus on the colors, not necessarily the numbers. And once again, that is time and sales. So we have ourselves a scanner, a screener. Again, both things one of the same. And this one is just, as far as Webull is concerned, top gainers, top losers. We have ourselves a time and sales window. And then we have ourselves a technical chart. And more specifically, we want ourselves a candlestick chart. Now, the next thing we're going to want is, okay, we've identified good stocks, big movers. And now we've actually watched them, right? We've observed how they're trading. Because just because a stock shows up over here, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like what you see. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to fit your strategy and that, okay, yeah, I want to, watch it further. But you are, of course, going to see stocks. You're like, okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, that looks interesting. And before you know it, you're going to have a few different stocks. So that's why at this point, you're going to want to have a watch list, right? So right here under general, click on watch list. And that's what's going to have you come over here and we'll set this over here. And this is going to allow you to start to build, well, hence its name, a watch list. Stocks that you want to watch, stocks that you find interesting. Again, why do you find them interesting? Well, yeah, that's just going to vary from person to person based on your personal strategy. But the idea here is that you're going to want to watch the stocks that you're trading. So for example, I'm totally making this up. Let's say, wow, CRWD, for whatever reason, you can click on that. And right there, it adds it to your list. Maybe you're going through and for whatever reason, you like, what SLRX is doing. So, okay, you get the idea. Add to watch list. And here in technical jargon, in trading jargon, you're now building yourself a watch list. So watch list, very, very helpful in regards to, just making sure that you're watching or keeping an eye on certain stocks. Now, again, all this stuff, I would argue, don't need. The idea behind a watch list is, you just want a way to systematically start to organize stocks that you're finding worthwhile and that you want to keep an eye on. So the watch list. And then the final thing that you're going to need, and I'm kind of moving this around, trying to make it somewhat, all proportionate. But the last thing you're going to need is, well, okay, we've found stocks via the scanner. We've observed the stock via the time and sales and the chart. We now have built more specifically a watch list of stocks that we want to narrow down because we've had a lot at first with that scanner, but we've narrowed things down with the watch list. But we are traders, and part of trading is you need to buy and sell stocks. So what else would you need? Well, again, over here, and the final thing here is we're going to want ourselves an order box. Now, I absolutely love the order box here for Webull, and I'll explain why here in a second. But first off, a couple of quick dynamics here. Let's make ourselves, again, life being easy. And when you can just click a button, to me, in my opinion, that makes life so much easier. If you can just say, okay, yeah, I want to buy, sell, and you just click a button, and there you go. It's so much easier. However, as beginners, you also want to make sure that you have structure. And a very basic form of structure is, well, how much money are you going to actually use in a trade? And I'm just totally making this number up. So by no means am I saying it's got to be this. I'm literally just making it up. But let's say that your number is $500, meaning you know that you want to put in $500 into a stock. And okay, now the problem here is if you're looking at a stock and it's, X amount of dollars, you're going to have to get out a calculator. Like, okay, well, I know I want to do $500, but if that stock is trading, and of course stocks are trading at different amounts, then you're going to have to get out their calculator and calculate stuff out. And maybe not as big of a problem if you're a swing trader or investor, but as a day trader, in many situations, you don't have time to sit there and pull out a calculator and figure out how much $500 is going to buy you of a certain stock. Now, in some situations, it can be easy. If the stock's trading for $1, then you're going to know right away, okay, I can buy 500 shares. But if the stock's trading for $16.37, I mean, maybe you're like a mathematical savant, but I am not. I would need a calculator to say, okay, well, how many can I buy? In fact, let's just do that real quick. So, how many can you buy? So, do you have time to do this? Okay, well, I have 500 and it's trading for 16.37. Okay, I can buy, you don't have time for that. But what's great about Webull and their order entry box is you can do a little customization here. So right now, let's just say you only want to buy $500. So you would click there and you would click on the settings here. And right here, when it comes to this, you would come over here and say, you know what? Right there, it says share, but we don't want to do shares. We don't want to do percentage. We want to do a money amount. So because your money amount is 500, change that to 500, click that, and now you know that right away, by clicking that button, you're just going to buy $500. And the platform itself is going to do the calculation for you. So in this situation, it's just going to know, okay, we're going to buy you that amount of shares. And everything is just so much more streamlined and, dare I say, so much more easier to just get a trade into the market by clicking a button and then having that button calculate how much you should buy. And again, any level of trading, you better have structure in terms of how much money you're putting into a trade, how much money you should be putting into a trade. And that's why in this situation it becomes very, very helpful. And now you would have to go through each of these because it doesn't come on Webull. I would argue it should be the default setting, but it is not, because it's not really traditional. Usually it's just a default of buying a certain amount of shares. But in this situation, again, just to show you one more, we'll go with the sell. So, if you want to sell the market, again, you want to come over here because right now it's set to the default of shares, which you can see right there. So that's what you're going to ultimately click on. So click on that. It goes to a percentage. And then click on that one more, and let's go to 500. Click done. So now you notice that right here it says sell $500. And you just do that for each one, and you get it, assuming you want to do that. Maybe you don't really care because if you're a swing trader investor and you can just do the calculator, then fine. But I found that very helpful and just a very streamlined way to go about it. And then the final thing is we want to connect everything together. This is just a simple logistic standpoint of efficiency. Because, for example, let's just say you want to look at CRWD. Do you really want to come over here and have to type in, okay, CRWD. Okay, let's come over here, CRWD. I mean, your fingers are going to get massive, right? You're going to, let's see, CRWD. You'll get very strong fingers because you're going to be typing all the time. But you don't want to do that, right? We want to make things easy. So the way to do that is, you want to tie everything together. So how do you do that in this situation? Well, over on Webull, it's set up with set as group. So you want to click on that. And for example's sake, let's just change that to 7. So we're going to come over here, set as group. We want to click on that, 7. Over here, 7. 7, and 7. Let me actually move this chart down some so we can have everything. I should note, am I saying that this is the exact arrangement of how you need to have everything? I'm not saying that. So, I mean, whatever is most visually appealing. But now check it out. Okay, we've tied everything together. So let's say that I do want to now look at SLRX. Notice how when I clicked on that, everything changed. This is now SLRX. That's SLRX, SLRX, and then, of course, SLRX down there. And, you know, look right here, maybe let's add that to the watch list. So now all of a sudden, if I click on AREB, which I just added to the watch list, notice everything is, once again, you get the idea. So instead of going around and typing every single time, when you tie everything together from an efficiency standpoint, that's just going to make you not want to lose your mind. And these are the 5 things that, in my mind, makes for an easy stock trading platform setup. And if you want to add more or less as you get more advanced and developed as a trader, then of course that's completely up to you. But in my opinion, and through my years of experience, these are the things that are going to matter the most as somebody that's not wanting to get overwhelmed and that just wants to go and make their life as easy as possible. So if you have any questions or anything like that, put those down in the comment section below and I'll do my best to help you out. And like I said, if you want the Webull platform, if you like what you saw here, then you can just use that link down below, get the promotion, whatever it may be. But hopefully this helps. Hopefully it can avoid the overwhelmingness, or maybe just maybe kind of start, maybe if you've already been feeling overwhelmed, now you have a little bit more of a precise way you can tackle all of this. But you get these 5 things in place, and it's certainly going to put you in a place where you can not be overwhelmed and stay most focused on what matters, and that is, well, making money as a trader. So like I said, any sort of other questions or anything like that, leave those down below. If you enjoyed this video, if you want me to make more videos like this, hit that like button, and again, leave a comment below. Maybe you have a suggestion for another sort of video like this, but I would love to hear from you. And then ultimately check out the channel as a whole, and if you like what you see, because there's a variety of videos, I would love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. So everybody take care, and hopefully this helps. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only 1 losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.